The Morgan Report with David Morgan. Discover how to build and protect your wealth at themorganreport.com.
David Morgan with the weekly perspective for the week ending 4th of July, 2025. Well, I thought I'd do a little bit different weekly, and that is a brief essay I wrote regarding freedom and money. Freedom dies when money lies. Why sound money is the foundation of a free society. There's an old truth we forget at our peril. When money loses its integrity, freedom soon follows. Throughout history, the erosion of honest currency has marched lockstep with the erosion of civil liberties. Connection is not coincidental, it's causal. Because money is not just a medium of exchange, it is the lifeblood of voluntary action. When it's corrupted, everything downstream begins to decay. Personal agency, self-reliance, and ultimately freedom itself. In a truly free society, individuals make decisions based on trust. They trust that fruits of their labor, measured in currency, will retain value over time. They trust that their savings will serve as a store of wealth, not melting ice cubes. They trust that investments will respond to real-world fundamentals, not to the whims of unelected technocrats operating behind closed doors. But a rigged monetary system destroys that trust. When central banks manipulate interest rates to artificially low levels, flood markets with fiat currency, and monetize endless government debt, they set off a chain reaction of distortions. Prices no longer reflect reality. Markets no longer reward prudence. Debt becomes addictive. And those playing by the old rules, earnings, savings, investings, find themselves punished rather than protected. Inflation is the most insidious form of this punishment. It operates in silence without debate or legislation, yet it affects everyone. It erodes purchasing power, diminishes the value of your savings, and forces people to take on more risk just to stand still. It's a hidden tax, and one with no vote, no debate, and no transparency. And there's a deeper issue. Inflation doesn't just attack the wallet, it attacks freedom. When people can't save, they can't plan. When they can't plan, they can't act independently. They become more reliant on credit, on government assistance, or large institutions that can manage the inability the system itself has created. That dependency is opposite of liberty. It breeds control, and that's precisely the danger. History shows that when monetary systems collapse, the political fall is rarely far behind. We saw it in Weimar Germany, where hyperinflation helped pave the way to authoritarianism. We see it today in places like Venezuela, where a failed currency leads to failed governance and widespread civil unrest. Even in the United States, the weakening of the dollar's purchasing power over the last century has coincided with massive expansion of federal control over private life. This isn't alarmism, it's pattern recognition. When money is debased, citizens become easier to manage. Their time horizon shortens, their stress level rises. They become less likely to resist, protest, or question, too busy making ends meet, too confused to see the bigger picture. That's why regimes throughout history have leaned on monetary manipulation. It's the invisible handcuffed. In that light, the defense of sound money becomes more than a financial concern. It becomes a moral and political imperative. A currency that holds its value empowers the people to live independently, to think long-term, and to resist coercion. It protects sovereignty, both national and individual. Remember, sovereignty simply means the capacity for self-determination. Gold and silver have served this role for thousands of years, not because they're shiny, but because they're scarce, verifiable, and resistant to central control. They are the antidote to fiat deception. That's why they've always been the enemy of the empire. Today, as central banks inflate away the last remnants of trust in the system, and digital currencies offer new tools to control under the guise of convenience, the battle over money is reaching a new inflection point. Will we continue down the path of dependence and dilution? Or will we reclaim the principle of honest money, and with them the promise of a truly free society? The answer will determine far more than a piece of gold or your return on your portfolio. It will determine whether the future generations live as a free people or managed subjects of a technocratic financial system designed to control, not liberate. Yours in freedom, David Morgan.
The US government debt is about to cross $37 trillion. That's not a typo. That's trillion with a T. Tariffs are being used to try and even the playing fields. Global supply chains are shifting. Inflation isn't going away. And the value of your dollar? It's quietly being drained while no one is really talking about this. The truth is, we're living through the early stages of a financial reset, whether anyone wants to admit it or not. And if you're still relying on mainstream headlines or financial advisors who just tell you to write it out, you could be blindsided when things really shift. That's where the Morgan Report comes in. For over 25 years, David Morgan has been helping investors cut through the noise. He tracks what actually drives markets, from precious metals and mining stocks to global debt and monetary policy, and show you how to protect and grow your wealth when the system is under stress. This isn't just about gold and silver. It's about having a clear-eyed view of where things are headed and making sure you're not caught off guard. The Morgan Report gives you real research, honest analysis, and strategies you can act on, even in a world of rising debt, unstable currencies, and economic uncertainty. Go to themorganreport.com today, download your free report, get informed, get ahead, and take back control of your financial future. Themorganreport.com, because $37 trillion in debt won't fix itself.